Taurus. Your cards are popping out already. So I'm going to do something a little different today. We're going to start with, we'll start right there. I'm going to do your reading a little academically. At first, we're just going to lay these out. I'm going to call them out for what they are, and then we'll get into interpreting them afterwards. And yeah, let's see how this approach turns out. So we started right away as a signifier being the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, it talks about a soul contract, soul mates, love, relationships, like-minded people coming together, sharing emotions, sharing thoughts and ideas. Partnerships in business, deep friendships. What's crossing your situation, or it can be said further supporting your situation, is the Three of Cups. So that's interesting. It's a progression. It's coming together in celebration. It's friendships. It's group activity. It can be reconciliations as well. But by and large, celebrations. So the root of you is the Five of Wands. Conflict, sparring, as opposed to battle. Yeah. Petty mindsets, perhaps. Healthy competition. What crowns you is the Seven of Cups. Options, having a lot of options that you love. Overwhelm, confusion. What is in your immediate past is the Four of Wands. Union, potentially marriage, coming together, homecoming. It also talks about, to some degree, soulmates. People call it the 1111, so that has become a recognized thing. Temperance is in your near future. Temperance is patience. It's also a card of alchemy, turning water into wine. It's a lot. The Temperance card is a lot of things to me, and we'll get into it as we move further into the reading. But for now, by and large, this is about patience. It's moderation, temperance. Yeah. A time to step back, to be considerate and thoughtful. Page of Cups represents you. Page of Cups is a young energy, a messenger of love, or an offer of love and creativity as well. A message of whimsy. Again, youthful energy, a very well-meaning message of love in earnest. That's your energy. In your environment is the Six of Cups, and this talks about friendships. Again, nostalgia, very long past friendships, past lives, sometimes past life energy. It also mimics, or picks up a little bit of like soulmate messaging a little bit, but really I find it a card of nostalgia, of old friendships, those a return to self even, It's a card of balance and reciprocity to me. It's a card of generosity. It's a card of sweetness. Sweetness, yeah. Hopes and fears. Six of Pentacles is it's a card of also reciprocity. It mirrors to me a lot of the energies of, or some of the energies of the Six of Cups, I should say, just in terms of like that give and take, that reciprocity. Only it's more in a material sense here, and it sort of forgets the old friendship thing. It's really a card of charity and give and take, being on the giving side or the receiving side of charity. Financial balance, again, give and take, equal participation and equal contribution in a partnership. Yeah, so it's in your hopes and fears and your outcome. Let it fall, let it fall. Well, that's too many. Can't take all those. Okay, this one. Oh, my word. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is, so this is really passionate, fast-moving, passionate energy coming towards you. It's fast-moving. Did I say that? Sorry. What I mean to say is he's a messenger or an offer of passion, of action, of activity, of inspiration. It's it could be fly by night. The opportunity could be fleeting. Its element is fire, so it could represent fire signs, and doesn't have to though. But yeah, largely a lot of passionate energy coming towards you. Okay, so let's get into this and talk about this further. So Taurus, we'll get a clarification on that last card and on the outcome. But let's see what we have here. What can we tell you more about this? So where your energy stands right now is quite lovely. It's so sweet. There's so much cups and sweetness here. For a lot of you, it's just the happiness of a really well-balanced relationship, whether that's romantic or friendship, like platonic, or you just are having a really amazing business partnership. Something's really, like, you just found somebody who you really click with, and that's, you know, at the basis of what you're going through this week in the period of the new moon here in Capricorn. And then, you know, supporting that further is that there's a sense of celebration. You're coming together. There's group activity too here. So perhaps this represents your workplace, and it's just a really happy time. Maybe you came out of the holidays and into the new year with a lot to celebrate, and that's really great news. I mean, that's you know, a lot of us had to stay at home all last year, and maybe some people are finding ways to come together after all of that. Yeah, it's just a really lovely time. And, you know, for some of you, it's also going to be that, you know, you have this union, this soulmate energy, or this perfect partnership, or this really balanced give and take here. Lots of balance, give and take all over this reading, by the way. It's really like making me super happy right now. You know, but there could be need for reconciliation if there was any rift for some of you. I don't see any negative, oh, that's not true. We do see a little negative rift here, don't we? We see a little competitiveness. We see a little, okay, so I'm going to read this a couple different ways because suddenly things are opening up. So for some of you, it's like this is just like a really lovely place to start and lovely place to be. It's all glorious and roses. But what also is indicated here for some of you, there might be like some other energy coming in to be disruptive here and cause competition and the sense of having options. So that's going to resonate for some of you. Yeah. But what you have is really beautiful and strong. Because at the root of you, though, is the Five of Wands. I forgot to look. As I was speaking about these, I forgot to look slightly down. And how quickly we forget. Five of Wands, though, is not crazy negative energy, I don't find. I mean, especially alongside the cards I see here. On its own, it's a card of conflict, but at the level of sparring, we're not at battle. We're not, wielding swords yet. We're just wielding our staves, and, it's more like sport. So, but it's still competition, and there's still a sense of, ambition there, and people's egos and ambitions bumping up against each other. So this is the energy here that, that is at the root of you, and why perhaps this 2 can become 3 for some of you, or how it's, or it's just an undergirding energy that that is recognized as being present through an ascension period. And I say that because we have a major arcana here in our near future. It's the Temperance card, and that sort of speaks to ascension. We'll get there though. And so a lot is coming through here, and I just want to try to be as clear as possible about the different possibilities, because this is a general reading. But one of the things I'm seeing is that I don't see a threat to your current lovely situation. I do see the recognition that you get a lot of your ascension from a sense of healthy competition, because this is also a card of healthy competition. And so you keep yourself expanding in that way, so long as nobody gets hurt. That's not a guarantee in this energy, though. Let's just remember. But I think it's recognizing that thus far, it's brought you to a really lovely place, and that is this beautiful soul connection and a lovely sense of community and celebration. I wanted to pop out, okay. What crowns you is this sense of having an expanse of opportunities ahead of you, all of which you love. This card sometimes is looked at negatively because it offers, in that it's like being confused. It talks about confusion. Because it crowns you, I don't see it as being in the way. It's just recognizing that where you're going, you could pretty much take this anywhere, and it could expand forward. And all of these options you love, like you have. It's a really great energy to be in, I think. It can threaten overwhelm, though, and which is to say that, if you don't simplify at some point, it just becomes excess. It's too excessive, and it's too much to concentrate on. It's too much to focus on. It becomes a bit of a burden to have those options laying around, so you do want to simplify eventually. In your recent past, you have the Four of Wands. Now, again, we talked about this being a potential indication of soulmate energy, and there's definitely the idea of unity and unions and homecoming. So whatever this energy here is, whatever relationship or relationships it talks to, it's in a place where you feel at home together in. And that's, the supporting energy. Going forward, there's a sense of temperance and moderation that's needed, though. But it's also ascension and alchemy and turning water into wine. So all of this water, it's just so great, because it's like you've got cups, and all of that is water and emotion. So how do you use that in an alchemic sense and, and elevate it? How do you elevate your and mature your emotions and make it something that can be expressed artfully and beautifully and supportively. So you're really in this ascension period where you're taking what is at your heart space and putting it forward in a way that is much more exalted than just expressing love. It becomes, I also like to say that the 2 cups on this card do represent, or can represent the 2 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups being here on the table, I think that's very true, that it's an extension of that 2 of Cups energy and that partnership that, enables you to mature this process, to be the alchemist and turn your expressions of love into something that's much more artful and mature and refined. So perhaps many of you are artists and you express yourself this way, and it comes from a very emotional and loving heart space. And so Temperance is a beautiful card in that way. I think people underestimate it because it just means be patient, but it doesn't. It takes a lot of patience for wine to mature, though, into like the best wine, doesn't it? And in that way, it does say that you will have to step back and in order to see the results, just refined to their best level, right? To mature, to age, and to fine wine, right? So that's in your near future. The card that's representing you is the Page of Cups, and so it tells me, along with all of this, is that, and it makes a lot of sense, that you have a very beautiful, childlike, and it doesn't mean that you're young or a child, but the energy that you are bringing forward is very youthful, and for that, it's a virile energy, but it's one that has an offering of love and whimsy and artfulness and creativity. Again, it all ties in. And I like to point out about the Page of Cups that he doesn't come with just a cup of water, he comes with a cup of fish. Because it's almost as if he's saying, and this is just my interpretation, a lot of people have say different things about this fish in a cup. Certainly it's wild and whimsical and imaginative, but it's also is this earnest thoughtfulness that is like, I'm not only going to bring you my cup of water or a cup of water. Everybody else is bringing you a cup of water, but my offer is a cup of fish. It's what water can live in, and we know water represents emotion. So it's almost as if, in a way, he's giving you his heart. It's what thrives in that emotion, in well-supported emotion. Like, I got you a fish, not just the water, and I think it's adorable because there are people out there with that energy. It's just this earnest, like, how can I make it the most? How can I give you the most? And this is the energy that you're standing in right now. And it's really, really lovely. And don't lose that, in your environment is again, the 6 of Cups is, you might have old friends surrounding you. I think it's an extension of this card here, the 3 of Cups, where the celebration here on the table. But in your environment, leading towards your ascension, I think at the core is this, it also pulls from the 2 of Cups energy, where it's a specific bond with somebody that brings you actually home to yourself. Again, with the homecoming, there's a lot of, repeat energies being expressed here on the table. And I feel like you have a particular bond with somebody who makes you feel more like yourself than anybody else does, and it's a well-balanced relationship of give and take. It's spiritually generous. It makes you nostalgic. It gives you a sense of sweetness, and that's in your environment, or and that is playing heavily into your ascension here. And your hopes and fears is the maintenance and perhaps the maturity of that give and take. And for some of you, it's also going to mean that there's a sense of balance of wealth, a sense of balance in resources. this is the card of charity, and it sometimes implies that you have to be on the receiving side of that charity. Sometimes it is that you're able to be on the giving side of charity. Because it's in your hopes and fears, I would say that that's a worry, that you are going to have need, or God forbid, have lack of resources, and therefore need to ask for charity, which is hard, of course, but it's, a hope and fear that the balance can be maintained in your resources, and that's reasonable, right? As you go through this ascension period, and I don't know if it has to do with a project that you guys are working on, or if it's your relationships that, that you want to keep a level of balance in, that respect, of course you do, in order to maintain the level of sweetness and balance that is already there, emotionally speaking. That makes a lot of sense to me. The Knight of Wands is your outcome, and let's get some clarifiers here, because if that's your outcome, it means that, you're going to be receiving news, perhaps, of, something that you're really passionate about, or somebody who's going to come towards you, very passionate about what you're doing, and very, passionate about what you stand for, and it's going to talk about inspiration, being inspired, and it's going to talk about woo, okay, wow, hey, that's not bad at all. Okay, bottom of the deck energy is the Ace of Cups, and that's an offer of unconditional love. Another offer, though. So we've got, a lot of love offers, loving offers. For some of you, it will be love relationships. For others of you, it'll be creation and creativity. If you're artists of any sort, it's going to be project offers in that sense. What's clarifying your Knight of Wands here, which is a message, an offer of inspiration and passion, is the Six of Swords in reverse, the Queen of Wands, and the Star card. So what this is saying to me is that, so the Six of Swords in reverse is a return. It's a return. Because sorry, my phone's asleep and I have to straighten it out before it falls right off. Oh my goodness. It's just dead weight. So, as I was saying, we've got a return, The Queen of Wands is a very bold, attractive energy, very passionate and very inspired. Once again, it's Wands energy, right? And she's very much exalted aspect of this energy. So you go from a knight's energy and it goes to queen's energy. It's almost as if you receive this information, or you accept this offer, and it becomes you, and it's something that helps you to elevate in a way that can really get across to people. So, you've kind of been in this more watery energy over here, but the Wands energy really, I think, gets through to people. Queen of Wands particularly is, everybody's best friend, I like to say. She's very attractive to most people. She's very gregarious. She's just like Miss Popular. She really is Miss Congeniality. But she's also very active and very much a doer, very capable. It's, yeah, she's a loving force to be reckoned with, a passionate force to be reckoned with, really is what I should say. But she's got an inviting aspect to her. She's not scary at all, but she's impressive. So that tells me that the energy of the outcome with the Knight of Wands, it progresses, and the Star is the star. It's hopes and wishes fulfilled. It's also a level of recognition, and it's also talks about, obviously fame and recognition and attention, but it talks about growing ideas and thoughts. It's just one, two. Sorry, I don't want to get lost in this, but really it talks about your hopes and dreams being fulfilled, and it's no wonder. So there's sort of a sense of elevation, escalation, from the Knights to the Queen energy, We get recognition and hopes and dreams fulfilled out of it. And so for a lot of you who are artists, you know, that's going to be landing a gig, booking something. And then the Six of Swords is, you know, in the upright, it means that you're going away, moving away from choppy waters and finding solace. But in the reverse, it's like you know, you're returning from, you know, from having escaped, you know, like something that you previously had to escape. You're now able to return. So again, it's this idea, this sense of homecoming. Yeah, that's your outcome, Taurus. It's all very good, and like I'm living in this energy right now that feels really loving and sweet and supported. And by all rights, you have connections with people, perhaps even a particular person, and it's helping you to mature something that you are working on. And you know, water into wine level of maturity. It's going to take a little patience to see that come through and move forward. But really, what it's bringing you is a whole lot of sweetness and generous energy that's going to become a passionate offer, result in a passionate offer that is going to allow you to grow to your most inspired self and allow you to return from something that you perhaps were moving away from previously, and they're somehow in this mix get a lot of recognition, but certainly fulfillment of hopes and dreams. So Taurus, that's where I leave you. I think that's a great reading. If this reading resonated with you, please hit the thumbs up, like button, subscribe if you're so moved. It helps me out a great deal. And leave your comments below. I hope to see you at the next one, and until then, I'm sending you my love and light. Thanks, Taurus.